Let's have a look at changing colours in Affinity Photo using the Recolour brush and Recolour selection. In this one we look at selecting an object to recolour, and you can see the inset there. I've changed the shadow just above the door from an orange colour to a red colour. For this I've used the selection tool for the whole object area and then applied a HSL adjustment. It's really straightforward and really simple for large areas or large objects like flowers or whole object changes. It's ideal for entire object or area recolouring. It's not really suitable for very fine detail. Now with this one we're doing recolouring using the brush. So you use the Recolour brush on the left hand side. And you can see I've extracted the colour replacement brush tool help file from the help file on Affinity Photo for iPad itself. Using the Recolour brush to make subtle colour changes to areas of an image. And what's subtle about this, you might say? Have a look at the inset and you can see I've begun to change the stripes in the door curtain to a green stripe from their orange in the original photo. And with this option you can do some really fine detail work depending on brush flow, opacity and other things like that. Now following this I have all in an easy video done on the iPad. The steps are still the same on the desktop version. All the tools are exactly the same. They're just in a slightly different location, obviously, because one's a desktop program and the other's an iPad program. But the easy steps follow next in the video coming up. So just wait a moment and it will appear. Okay, here it comes. Stand by. Let's look at the two main modes of recolouring images or objects in Affinity Photo. The first one we use by selecting a particular area or an object. And in this case we'll use the Smart Selection tool, reduce the width of the rectangle that we're dealing with, the circle, sorry. Let's make that a nice round 25 pixels. Snap to edges, all layers. Now we've got that ready. Remember that's the left hand side, it's the selection brush, and just draw in the selection. Now we're just changing the shadow and you can see the shadow there. That's really easy. Now we go to the adjustments layer, you can see it there, and select the HSL option, and we just want to change the hue of the orange. We can make it nearly anything we like. You can turn it green. Now green's a very strange shadow. Let's turn it a deep purple or a deep blue. But what I've done is make it a deeper red, and that'll do for the moment. And that's all there is to it. Just tap on there and that's changed the colour of that selected area. Then you go up to there and deselect, and there it is. The image is ready for export, and you can see we have a layer there, the HSL shift adjustment layer, and that's affecting the image just below. Now I'll delete that because the next one we want to go on to, just delete that, press the bucket, we're back to the original. Now you'll notice I've got my image there is locked, selected and locked. Now the next one I want to do, excuse me, is not using the HSL layer, but we'll go to the photo persona and select the paintbrush tool and the colour replacement brush. Now from my last experiments I've got green, so I'm going to put green in the curtains. The flow I've set to 50% and the opacity 51. The pixel width is 16. Now because I'm going to try and do the curtains here. Everything else, everything else is ready. So all I have to do, and you can see the little warning sign that's come up there. Now why did I get that, do you think? Because I forgot. Let's step back here a bit. Select the layer and make a duplicate. Grab that layer there. Oops, wrong one. And lock that layer so it can't be changed. Now, by selecting that layer, everything else is still the same down there. I still have the colour replacement brush and the colour's still green. Now you may not see it immediately because I've got the flow set very low. Let me enlarge that a little bit. Now you can see the green coming in there. And it's replacing ever so slowly because I don't want to hurry it. Let's check the opacity up to 70%, the flow up to 71, and you can see that going in much more rapidly now. You see it's not replacing all the colours. That's because I've only got the tolerance set to 10%. Let's set the tolerance to 25%. And you can see what happens. You have to be careful with setting the tolerance because that means colours either side of the colour you're changing can be changed, which you may or may not want. Now, you use the recolor brush for doing selected little bits like this, not for trying to recolor an entire image. That would be silly if you tried to color the wall of a house like this, for example. It's for doing things like changing blemishes on a person's face in a portrait photograph, for example. Excellent for that. And you can see the green curtain being changed there as I move along. And really, that's all there is to that. Don't try and do this large orange up here, although you can do it, but it's going to take you forever, and you would have to set your pixel brush width very large to cover it, and then of course you make the mistake of going over the edge and you have to repeat the whole thing. And you can see the layer there is the one that's being changed. Let's turn it off. There's the original. Turn it on. There's the recolor. Now that's all there is to doing the recolors. Just be careful and take your time as you go. Don't set your brush width too wide and pick a decent brush. I've just got the basic brushes, and I think I selected, yes, there it is, the basic round brush there is the one I've got selected. That's all there is to that. Let's go back there, and that's all there is to it.